Hi guys.
Hi everyone.
You shut
Hello.
How was Sunday dinner?
Well, I went to my mom's house and had dinner. It was great.
Same. I cooked though before I left.
I know that's right.
What did you end up making, Shauna?
I made something frozen, but it's like a pasta with some garlic bread. It's whatever.
I know that's right. Look, you eating.
It's dinner.
Yeah, I didn't eat. I made dinner for the child. You know, they gotta eat.
Right.
Hey, Darnay.
Hello
How
everyone.
you doing?
Hi.
I'm not even lying. I'm like super sad right now.
Why?
What's going on?
Cause I'm just
A rough day.
No, I was having a good day. I was
Oh.
having a great day. Everybody know this podcast start when it starts, and my child decides to come exactly when it starts, and just I don't know. It's just one of those bad days. And
Yeah,
you know.
I get it.
Yeah, and I wasn't even trying to drink today, so I poured me some wine.
That works.
Because listen,
That works. It's all right. We all have our bad days. It's okay.
This is true.
Hello everyone. Hi guys.
Does anybody notice anything different about our screen today? For those of you who be paying attention,
Right. Or the colors we all have on.
or the puzzle on my shirt.
Yes.
boobies.
Please.
Can y'all tell us?
Y'all names. No.
No, our names are the same. Right? Are they different?
Hi. No, we're just in a different order.
Oh. Hi, Kai. Let Kai say hi.
He said hi 7 times. I ain't hear him. Kai, you could come say hi.
Just
Come say hi.
Hi. Yes. Do you guys not our names? The logo in the corner. Can you tell us?
Also in the corner.
By my head. By my. Oh wait. Yeah, there we go. Hey, there we go.
Boom, it's on Shauna.
There we go.
So the logo in the corner is centered around our episode topic for today.
Yes.
So I'm going to blow it up for everybody so you guys can see it. And it says, I promise to teach my babies to love your babies, period.
Yes.
And if you can see, we have the hearts with all different type of disabilities and handicap, their logos. And so, that's pretty much what we'll be touching on today for today's episode.
We thought this was a great time to talk about this because of all our kids going back to school and then meeting new people and interacting with new people.
Right.
So why not?
That's right. Oh, I just gotta. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have like a little bit of an attitude right now.
I know. I sensed it. I sensed it. What's the matter?
Nothing. I mean, nothing that I want to talk about on here.
It's okay.
But I'm trying to get my
It's okay.
feng
Breathe.
shui.
Smell the flowers. Blow out the candles.
Namyo
Do that.
Renge-kyo, Namyo
Yes.
Renge-kyo.
Right.
Do that 3 times, and you got this. It's okay. Cause I like literally when you push start, I was like wiping a tear. It's just things shifted really, really
Really
crazy.
fast. Yeah.
Barely
I
in it.
don't know what's going on between last night and today. My energy, been off too, as y'all can see on Facebook. So
Yeah.
this is a safe place. We all here for one another. We're gonna get through whatever we're going through, and that's it.
And you know what we didn't do? We usually do before we come on. We did not pray
We
today.
usually
We
pray.
did not
Yes, we do.
pray.
We did not pray today. We should pray now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bow your heads, close your eyes, close your mouths, put your fingers down. Don't type no comments until we finish. Everybody, bow your heads, close your eyes. Okay? Okay. Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless us on today's podcast. Bless our energy, shift our problems elsewhere for the moment. Let us be clear minded, open hearted to our topic for today. I pray that the topic today and our guest that we have coming on helps us bring awareness to certain situations for children with certain disabilities. Um, Thank you for another opportunity to do another podcast, and let us get us together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. That's
Amen.
sometimes no matter where you at, you just gotta stop and you gotta pray. That's it.
Okay. That's that. Period.
Okay, guys. Hey, hi everyone. Hi Shahira.
Yes, I'm rooting. I'm your Renge-kyo. That's what Tina was doing. It worked for her. So
We're gonna get through it, guys. We're gonna get through
amen, amen, and amen. That's right. Well, today we are going to be talking about children with disabilities. We're probably going to be speaking of just a particular disability today, just because of our guests.
right.
We have a mom coming on today who is going to be sharing her personal experience, with her child. And we're really excited about it. We've been really excited about it. We all thought that she would be a great candidate
Right.
for the podcast. And, you know, we're going to get it together.
That's right. Yes, we are.
Shauna, you said that you wanted to talk about, this was the picture that you found this picture, this meme, should I call it? Boom.
Because I was in charge of memes.
I know, but you said that.
Because came. Oh, okay. So I picked this meme in particular because it touched on a little bit of everything. Because like people don't know how to deal with certain kids. Like for instance, like my son, he's seeing an amputee for the first time, and he
Okay.
didn't understand it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I gave him the knowledge that I know so he can understand it. But I also told him and explained to him like you don't treat anyone different because everybody is different in their own way.
Right.
The inside, the outside, everywhere. So I thought this was a beautiful meme to share.
And it is. It is.
I agree.
And we need more of that. We need to put this out there because there's so many kids these days that are very mean.
Yes.
Very.
These children these days is different. They
Yeah,
mouth.
they becoming crazy. Like even on the playground, you ever take your kid to the playground and you just like, yeah, little boy, I will pluck you and then I will go tell your parent because you're not going to be pushing my son around. Because my son, like, he has a speech impairment, right? And I'm
Okay.
cool with talking about it because my son dope. You feel me? Like he's
Right.
cool. And so like people being that they don't understand him, they like try to make fun of him or try to like just push him in a corner because they don't understand him. Take your time, listen, because if you take your time and listen, you understand what he's saying, and it's usually something rude or usually some shit you be like, who are you talking to? So yes, I thought this was a really good topic to talk to.
Right.
Yeah, that's totally understandable because a lot of parents should teach their children how to deal with children that may be different than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know one of my children definitely has a staring problem. She sees something that she don't, like she's never seen before that may look different. She gonna stare, and I'll be like, that's you don't do that. What
Right.
if you wouldn't want nobody staring at you because something was wrong or something was different. So it's very important to I'm cracking up at Sean. It's very important to teach your children how to deal with and get along with and associate with and be in coexistence with a child with a disability or a special need.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right. So, I
And
think
you just
that,
never know what people going through. You just whether you got a disability or not, just teach your kids to be nice to others. Period. No matter if the child got a disability or not. Because for me, nothing's. My kids don't have a disability, but I'm afraid of Malaysia just getting picked on and bullied because she's so shy, like she's so to herself.
right.
Well,
Hmm.
I feel like somebody's child's going to take advantage of that.
Right.
So it's like just teach your kids, period.
And yeah, so speaking on that, like I definitely understand that because I want to know that my kids know how to, this may sound crazy, but defend themselves because it seems like the kids these days are just so much more aggressive and physically and verbally, and their mouths are just off the hook,
No,
so
these kids are really mean. So, all right, before we introduce our guest, so we was at the playground the other day, and this little boy was on the playground, but he just kept punching this older kid. So I was talking to the mom, and I'm like, "So do your son know him?" She said, "No, he just be going around punching people." She's like,
that's
"No, he
what's
just go
wrong.
around punching on people." And I'm like, "I
Listen,
don't think you should like your son should be doing that because like if my son didn't get along with him and he just punched my son, I'm gonna teach like I teach my son if somebody hits you, hit them back. I know it's a big debate on that right now, but realistically,
I
like
don't understand what the debate is about.
you're not alone.
period. Because if you hit my kid's gonna hit you back, and if he don't hit you back, he probably didn't even realize, or he trying to be nice. Because my son, he tried to be nice sometimes, but I told him you give him a couple times, but if he just pounding on you, you got to do what you got to do, bro.
That,
Right.
that,
Like,
That's right.
so.
I be telling my kids the same thing. I'm like, you're not going to get in trouble because I'm telling you to do it.
And if the mama got a problem, tell her she can meet me over there.
at 3 o'clock. You feel me?
I'll be there at 2:55. What you talking about?
2:35.
2 p.m. How about that? No, but for real, because I was definitely that shy kid. I think I cried when I was in Florida. I went down there. I left 41 in Jersey City when I was going to fifth grade. So I started fifth grade in Florida, and coming from Jersey City to Deerfield Beach was like two different worlds because I was seeing a lot of people that didn't look like me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like they would be like, "Oh, you talk funny," or like it just was like little stuff. And as a child, it bothered me. Like my last name, Moody. The teachers always wanted you to get up and introduce yourself, and I'd be like, "My name is Sabrina," and they'd be like, "What's your last name?" And I'd be like, and everybody be like, "Moody, ha, ha, ha." So that was like an insecurity for me for a long time until I got into like 10th grade, because I was like, the fuck, like what's so funny, like
Kids are just mean.
facts. Like when
Just
these kids
mean.
these days they different, they mean on
Rough.
a different level. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's social media, YouTube, TikTok, what it is, but
And it's an age different, I think, too. Like the parents these days
It's younger.
yeah,
Yes.
right. Back from when I was growing up, my mama was like up in age, so
Right, right.
it was a little different.
Yeah.
And then you had the mama, the grandma. These days, out my age, you got some grandmothers out here. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a little different these days,
It sure is. It ain't like Big Mama.
right?
If
But
I
then,
know a trick, my grandmother, she get the switch quick. I think I got more whoopings than all my cousins combined. I was
I
always
was a
the
runner.
fast.
I was a runner. I was a track star back in the day. And then my grandma lived across the street from where we used to live at. So my mom tried to get the belt. Scoot, I'm up out of there. Going right across the street. And anybody know my mom? My mom ain't running. So I
Nah,
was
that not running.
at no
Get
age.
you later though.
Nah, I stayed out for 2 days, honey. She forgot.
I'm telling you, because these kids these days, they don't got no fear. They ain't scared.
Because they don't get whippings. Because I know I don't whip my kids. It be taking everything in me to pop them or hit them. And I think it's because I got so many beatings. I was just like, I don't want to do that. I got beatings. Like, oof.
I don't pop my son, but no. You heard him.
Oh, you lying? You lying on live?
No, he was like, what? All right, so I try not to, but he I pop him with a spoon. I do, yes, and I'm gonna just leave it there because
A spoon? A spoon?
yeah, one. It's a good little pasta one.
Okay.
And what the hell? One time. Or good old crunch.
Yo, you ever get a beating? Like, you about to get your ass whooped? Like, I remember when I used to get my ass whooped by my dad. Oh, he didn't have no tail. It was straight leather belt action. If I know I was going to get my ass whooped, I would dad put on mad layers of clothes. But, like, I'd be in the room like...
Yo.
Like,
I used to try to go to sleep. They come in the house, they gonna forget. I used to go to sleep.
No, my stepdad and mom used to wake us up. Oh,
Straight.
you thought I forgot? Straight light on everything. Pull the covers back. Take your pants off. Wait, what? The pants?
Girl, everything. I remember I did that one time. My father was like, take it off. I was like, a face ugly as hell.
Yo, but...
Crazy. Oh, wait, we have a comment. We have a comment from Darnay. Darnay says, my brother has cerebral palsy, and I tried to teach Tati that her uncle was born different, so there's no need to be scared. But when a child her age sees a wheelchair and don't understand, it's hard. I work in that field and love my job working with the individual with disabilities. Okay. Well, it's good that your child has firsthand experience dealing with a child that is different.
Right.
That's definitely a good thing, because not only are you teaching her, but she can teach her friends by you teaching her. That some kids, because some kids do. Ma said, "What's up, Shauna? Shauna, what you say?"
I said, "You ain't running, Mom. You ain't running. Ain't no lies detected."
Okay, well,
gosh.
So it's 7:25.
Okay. So, guys, today we have a special guest. She's a friend. She's a great mom. And today she's going to give us the real and the raw of our topic, autism. So let's give a warm welcome to
Deanna. Oh.
Hi, Deanna.
Hi, guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, hi.
Hey, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Deanna. I'm originally born in Newark, but I was raised in Plainfield. Currently, I live in Georgia. I do have 5 kids, 13, 10, 8, 5, and 4. My youngest son is autistic. So I just wanted to come here. Thank you, ladies, for having me, by the way.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Yes, I want to discuss a few topics, because my thing is, when I first found out my son was autistic, he was actually only about 3 months old. and I noticed that
Wow,
he
that's
didn't
really
have
early.
eye contact.
Okay.
With me having children before him, I didn't notice, I noticed that he didn't really have eye contact. He cried a lot more. It was harder to get him to stop crying. So I brought it to the doctor's attention, and they told me, like, hey, you know what? We think you're right. He might have autism. I noticed that he wasn't crawling. He wasn't really trying to speak. So when he was 1 years old, he was diagnosed with autism. And it was really hard because at that time, a lot of times I blamed myself because I didn't know where it came from. They had no real reason for him being autistic. It was just like, oh, well, we can do a genetic test, but even the genetic test can come back wrong. So now Isaiah's 4 years old. They told me that he would not be talking. He probably wouldn't walk. I mean, he runs down the street. He he's saying at least 3 words. He knows my name, his siblings' name. So we've come a very, very, very long way. But the most important thing is for you ladies not to blame yourselves. It doesn't matter the disability because you just never know where it came from, whether it was a doctor's fault, because that happens too, whether it was the shots, anything of that nature. Um, Sorry, y'all gotta kind of bear with me because this is my first time
No, you're doing
doing the
great. You're
podcast.
doing great.
Yeah, so um, just don't go blaming yourself. I know that's a really, really hard thing to do. Like I said, he's 4, he's going on 5. He'll be 5 in May. This is the first time I've come to grips with God decided to give me this child with a little bit of extra spice because he knew I could handle it. He wanted to teach me, a lot of times it's to teach you something. I began to lack patience with all my other children. It was just so many. Like I said, I have 5. It was just like after the first one, okay, I had patience. After the second one, it's like, okay. Third one is like, Lord, what to do? Okay. And now with Isaiah, it's like I'm a lot more patient. I'm a lot more understanding. I was so closed minded before, and now it's like I think a lot more outside of the box because I have to. He doesn't eat like we eat. He doesn't understand things like we understand it. The noise might be too loud. Like I would say last week I took him to Stevie B's for just to have a little family outing because we usually don't go out just because I don't want to exclude him from the activities. So I took them to Stevie B's and I was really, really nervous as we didn't had other things happen out in public where he was screaming, he choked me, everybody's staring. People are always staring. So I didn't really want to take him, but I said, you know what, we're going to try this today. And honestly, we had a great time. He sat down, he ate his pizza. There were people staring at us, of course, but this time instead of me saying, you know what, oh, he's autistic because I like to put a label on it. Well, I used to, but now he's just a regular child. To me, he's just a regular child. He just learns differently. So I would say, oh, he's autistic, and have a nervous breakdown. But this time, I let him enjoy himself. I let him learn. I talked to him a little bit more slow. And like I said, he's talking. So he told me what he wanted to do. And it was a really good time. I mean, I did have to chase him though I did have to chase him behind the food counter.
Oh, okay.
I had to chase him behind the food counter, okay, but we still had a really, really great time. So the main thing is don't blame yourself for anything. And like I said, I know that's super, super hard to do. It really is. Because it's like you don't know where it came from. You don't know, it comes out of nowhere. Nobody asked to be a mom with a child with disabilities, and it's really the hardest thing. It's really
Right.
hard. Like you hear so many times parents say, well, you choose to have this kid. You chose to have this kid. You chose to lay down, but I didn't ask God to give me a child with disability. I already have, 4. I already have 4. So that's a lot. I wrote some notes down here, y'all. So I gotta kind of go back to my notes a little bit.
No,
No,
that's
Gotta
but
go
okay.
back to my notes a
yeah,
little bit.
and that's true. Especially the
Also,
uh-huh.
okay, girl, you supposed to say something?
Oh. I was about to say, um, when you touched on you guys going out in public, because my brother has autism, and I'm right wearing his autism shirt. We used to do the autism walks for him, and when that was the first time I've ever heard about autism was when excuse me, my brother was diagnosed with it. And I remember my mom crying, and because we didn't really know what it was. And thankfully he's not high on the spectrum, but it was a challenge, especially when he was younger. I remember I was pregnant with Cassidy, and I took him and Nyla to Disney on Ice at the Prudential Center. And this is before we knew. And it was really loud. And he just kept going like this. And he was getting like really upset. And he was screaming and he was yelling. I didn't understand. I thought he was scared or something. I didn't know, you know, at the time. And then when we found out and we were educated on it, we found out that loud noises is irritating to them. And certain, like you said, he didn't eat the same things we ate and how we ate them. And thankfully he is trans what's the word that I'm looking for, transitioning into general education classes now from special ed. So it's I say, like, don't let these doctors tell you what your child can't and won't do,
Right.
because doctors get proven wrong all the time. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's just like you
they
said, they
get
told
proven
you that
wrong
he
all the
would
time.
not.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, they get proven wrong all the time. And my thing is, even walking into the autism center, you could see the difference. And I'm not saying they didn't treat my son fairly well, because they did. However, you could see that they offered more treatment to the Caucasian people. It would be, oh, well, he can have these three therapies, but he can only do one at a time. And it's like, well, why they get to do all three? We get straight Medicaid for these kids. Why does my son have to wait on the list, but they just called in and they get an appointment?
Right.
So it's like, and even now within the regular system, they don't want to deal with your child. Nobody wants to deal with them because it's also so many other things going on. They don't want to do the one time with them. They don't want to have to sit down and help them, which is really sad. It's really sad. Even when like going to amusement parks, I feel like they should have a section where
For
it's
sure.
sensory education. Like they have where they sensory nights for the kids and stuff like that. I think they need to do more of that, more areas in the park for kids with disabilities. Because even taking him to a park, I think he's 4. He's probably only been to a park twice, because each time we go, somebody's, oh, look at him, look at this. Why is he doing that? Or he's throwing stuff in the air, and they don't understand that he's autistic. So my kids got to get to the explaining to them, like, hey, my brother's autistic, and they're almost getting into fights or just having to explain to people in general, because people fear the unknown.
Right.
And that's the
So how
problem.
did
Instead of them,
how
go
did
ahead.
your other kids react? I mean, like, how do your other kids deal with like his like with their brother? Like, what, like, how did they react to it when you came?
Well, I think my other kids are really his biggest supporters, because they get down, they sit down, they do words with him. At first, when they first found out he was autistic, it was a little hard to explain, because of course he has a sister that's 1 year older than him. So she didn't understand that he didn't want to play. So they were always fighting and screaming. There was a
Okay.
lot of that for about 2 years, fighting and screaming, because she didn't understand. But I broke it down to my oldest girl first, because I knew her being a teenager, she would understand, she would grasp it a little bit more. So
Hmm.
she helped them, basically, she helped me with them explain, hey, he's autistic, he won't eat these kind of things. He doesn't go to bed when we go to bed, because he can't go to bed when we go to bed. If he's upset, I taught them how to do the compression hug to hold him down, speak to him in a calm tone, rub his head a little
Right.
bit, give him kisses. Because fortunately for me, and I hear this a lot of autistic children are not touchy feely. They don't really like hugs. They don't like kisses. But my son Isaiah, he loves hugs. He loves kisses. He loves to put his head on you. he likes to express himself. So I think that with me being the mother that I am, because I'm really loving, I try to show each and every one of them the same amount of love. So with that being said, with me projecting my love onto them, it was easier for them to project their love onto him. And they're very protective of him. They don't let anybody say anything to Poppy. Let
That's
anybody
good.
say anything to him.
That's good.
Okay, we have some comments.
Yeah, some questions for you.
Everybody says you're doing great. You got this. You're a great
Thank you,
mother.
ladies.
Yes, Mark. Aviana says her son does the same thing with the loud noises. Yes, Freddie used to definitely be irritated by the loud noises. Even if we were watching like a movie and the TV was too loud, he wouldn't even walk past the TV because it was just too loud. Now, like he could ride in my car and I could blast my music. He'd be chilling, you know. So I guess certain things they outgrow maybe as they get older.
Yeah, some
Right.
things they outgrow.
Cassandra Bass
Some things
wants
they
to
outgrow.
know, what do you think about meds?
Excuse me,
That's
y'all.
for you.
As far as medications go, I do not want to put my son on any medications. I feel like without the medication, he's been progressing. They did say when he turned 3 that they would like to start medications for him, but I feel like if I would have gave him that medication, it would have set him back.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's been progressing. They're like, how does he know these many amount of words? I'm surprised I don't hear him calling me now. Usually when I'm talking, he's like, Mom, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe in the medications. I didn't even want to get him his first shots. They made me to him. And I personally feel like that's what caused his autism because when he first came out, he seemed fine. It was after a few days I just started noticing like he's looking sideways. I don't suggest any medications. I know there was somebody who said her son does something similar. It's important that you go to Babies Can't Wait. I don't know how old your son is, but Babies Can't Wait is a great resource for your child before into school age. And they help you before 3 years old. If you think there's anything wrong, whether it's a speech delay, whether they're not walking, they help you with everything walking, talking, feeding, other resources, housing if you need that, to get supplies. It's very scarce though. It depends on where you live because, like I said, I'm in Georgia, so a lot of help we should be getting here we don't get, which is okay because I feel like I have a pretty good support system. So
Okay.
you want to make sure also that you teach the people around you
Definitely.
about your child and their disabilities because a lot of times that goes on deaf's ear. You think
Yeah.
because you know everything and look into it's important that you take them steps to say, hey, listen, my son does not eat this, my daughter doesn't eat that. If they have another disability, you want to make sure that they know everything to take care of them because a lot of times you send your child somewhere and somebody doesn't know how to handle them and they end up hurt. So I'm the type of mom where my kids don't really go to my mother's house without me, to my friend's house without me. Anywhere, we're always together because you just never know. And with him being nonverbal,
So
it's really, really hard because he can't tell me, just like within school. I was very afraid to send him to school. Very afraid because these teachers are humans too. And just like we
right,
come in, we might go to work having a bad day, they might have a bad day.
right.
Right.
So it's important that you make sure that even when you do send them to school, I questioned the teacher on her page about autism. I questioned her about disabilities because there's 7 kids in her class and she's an old Indian woman. I
Okay.
And I learned something
you
today. I
know,
didn't know that, they autistic, they don't eat certain food. I learned that today.
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
so
Freddie still
each
eats
one teach
only
one.
certain
Yeah, that's
things.
right, Natalie. Each one do got to teach one.
Yep, that's a fact. I wanted to
Yeah, they try to feed them at school. They try to give them. They tell.
mhm. I
Go
think
ahead.
we might be lagging a little bit or clashing with each other. Sorry guys about that, but I hope you guys are understanding everything that we're saying and you're getting the information um that we're giving. I did go to the CDC's website because it seems like autism is a very common diagnosis these days. And Deanna, you mentioned something about the shots, and I remember there is a study, or was a study going on some years ago when my brother first got diagnosed, about one of the vaccinations that they thought was linked to giving to causing the autism in the kids. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was the MMR. Um, I want to say it was the MMR. I'll find more about that
Mhm.
from my mom because she was like doing a lot of research. But I did pull up social communication and interaction skills and signs of autism, because a lot of the times, parents just think that their kids are just, a little frustrated, or some things are not, that big of a deal until they get older. And I know with autism, it's best to catch it when they're younger.
Right.
So, this is what I found. So, examples of social communication and social interaction characteristics related to autism can include: avoids or does not keep eye contact, does not respond to name by 9 months of age, does not show facial expressions like happy, sad, angry, and surprised by 9 months of age, does not play simple interactive games like patty cake by 12 months of age, uses few or no gestures by 12 months of age, does not share interests with others, does not point or look at what you point to by 18 months of age, does not notice when others are hurt or sad by 24 months of age, does not pretend and play. For example, doesn't pretend to feed a doll baby, doesn't pretend to
The dog baby.
shows little interest in peers, and has trouble understanding other people's feelings or talking about their own feelings, does not play games with turn taking. And another thing, oh, they have a lot more. Plays with toys the same way every single time, gets upset by minor changes, has obsessive interests, they must follow certain routine, flips hands, rocks body, or spins self in a circle, has unusual reactions to the way things sound, smell, taste, look, or feel, delayed language, delayed. It's there's so much. And one thing that I did notice that was a common characteristic is um, walking on your tip. The kids walking on their tippy toes. Um,
Mm.
my brother used to walk on his tippy toes for a long time, and when we found out he had autism, we didn't think that. We didn't think. Oh, Dion, you on here 2 times? Oh, that's better. We didn't think that it was a big deal, but interesting, that was a sign.
Yeah, but also we should also make it clear, like, yes, those are all the signs, but don't like start looking at your child and be like, oh, my child has a problem and stuff like that, because that's why they go to the doctor frequently. Like that's why they go to the doctor so often, because they read those signs. Like for instance, my son, they say he was on the spectrum. All right, so not to like change the subject. So my son was a preemie. For some people who don't know, my son was a preemie. I had him at 6 months. So he was in on the spectrum for a lot of stuff because I had him so early. He was so underdeveloped and stuff. So that's where some of his speech delay come from like all the tubes he was on for so long. And we didn't pick that up until later down the line. And then like he don't like loud noises now. You understand what I'm saying? And he like a lot of that stuff that you said was on the list. My son played a lot in that. And then like they said he was on the spectrum, like a small, because it's spectrums to like
Yeah,
autism.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was on a small part of the spectrum, and then he got behavioral issues. You know what I mean? So you can have some of those things, but it also could be other bigger things. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Like I said, the list was that list was just I
Mm-hmm.
could have kept scrolling. I don't want you guys to take that as y'all diagnosing y'all children's with autism, because that's that I was just letting you know, because there's a lot of parents who um are unaware, and unfortunately some kids don't go to the doctor how they should go to the doctor. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? For doctors to catch certain things at the age that would be recommended for them to be evaluated and everything like that. But
Oh, and prideful. Some parents are prideful.
I'm about to
They
pretty
say,
much
don't
so.
want to. Yes.
I'm
They
Right,
don't
prideful,
want
yeah.
to like think it's something wrong
You
with their child. Like you were
right.
exactly
speaking earlier. Like
in denial.
because and that's where that whole blame it's my fault thing comes in, because you think, okay, it's something that I did, and because you don't want to own up or take responsibility, or not even just take responsibility, but to allow yourself to know that there's nothing that you actually did, that God decided he wanted to give you this as a treat, because autistic children are just children in general, they're so special, they're so amazing, and
Hmm.
everybody else looks at it so lightly. Like I remember growing up and seeing kids, and it's like, "Ha, look at those people on the yellow bus,"
Right.
or look at from the cafeteria. Oh, they strange. Nobody wants to be their friend. But I've
Right.
always been the person to be friends with someone with disabilities, just because I knew me being a regular person, being on the outside, looking at everyone else, having friends, and everyone's constantly picking and talking about me. It was like, you know what? I know how you feel, and I'm a regular person.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
And just to become friends with them, to know, man, you actually smarter than all the people in this classroom.
Hmm.
Right. So
That's
So
not so somebody said in the comments, which this and I don't know, I like pointed out to me. It says sometimes the doctors don't listen to the parents, and that is the God honest truth. Like
Yes,
they think just because they got their degrees and stuff, not shaming or I'm happy you're here, all that. But it is a lot of doctors who don't listen to the parents, and no
mhm.
one knows your child better than you.
exactly. Yeah,
Period. Like you get the feeling in your child. You know your child. Like you just know. So yes, I'm going to you with a little more help, but like in this situation, we're helping each other. I'm giving you advice. You giving me advice. You just give me a little more.
And
So that is definitely a true fact. Like
that's where the whole village, it takes a village too, because a lot of times, even when you admit it to yourself, because it makes you feel like you're crazy. You feel crazy, like everything caving in on you, because it's like, is there really something wrong with my child? Because you have the naysayers, the people in the background saying, ain't nothing
ain't
wrong with
nothing
that
wrong
child.
with him. Yes.
Just
right,
just
Yes.
right.
feed them. You ain't feeding them enough. And it's like, well, isn't that abuse? Like, am I really supposed to
It's
be my
neglect is what it
it's
is.
not.
It's
Yeah, it's
neglect.
neglect.
abusing and neglecting? Like,
Yes.
that don't even make sense.
I'm the type of person that if I even sense any little thing wrong, I'm straight to the doctor's office. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just paranoid like that. So I think it like to I think it's embarrassment as well to some parents. Like they don't want to go through the embarrassment or want to feel like something's wrong with their child. You know what I'm saying? But in a sense, that's a bit selfish to your
Yeah,
children,
Very
because
selfish.
as the parent, you owe them the best care that you can give them. So there's nothing wrong with going to see if something wrong with your child. Like at the end of the day, you want your child to grow into a happy, healthy, independent, fully functioning adult. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So when you are when they're small, we stay on top of, what we gotta stay on top of. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Autism kids are some of the smartest kids ever.
Yeah, they
Like,
dope. They
yo,
super dope.
it's
that is so
crazy.
true.
It's crazy.
And so it does run hand in hand, like Jonah said, with other different, you have autism, ADHD, autism, and Asperger's. There's so many different things
Yeah.
that go
Yeah.
hand with it. And like you said, they're really, really smart. My son, he stacks up his toys in a line. They got to be in a perfect line. His cup has to be a certain way. His shoes has to be tied a certain way. His food has to line up on his plate a certain way. Even when we went to Stevie B's, I thought that he wouldn't grasp the concept, because it's pizza and then it's like a little arcade, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
So he'd never been before. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's going to necessarily grasp this concept. We walked in there. He's so happy. Oh, the lights, the lights. And
Aw.
lights also throw them off too.
Right.
And he ran
Bless
motorcycle. It was
Thank you.
vibrating. It was real loud. And he wanted to get on it.
Okay.
Aw.
And that's
And
progression. That's progression.
yeah. And like he saw his sister swipe the card and he took the card and he swiped it too. And I said, you see, they think other people
Absolutely.
think that they're not smart, but they really smart. It's just the stimming when it becomes too much for know how to act. He might rip at my throat. He might pull my shirt. He might smack me, pull my hair a little bit, sometimes. And
Because he
that's the most
expresses himself differently. You
That
and
know.
is amazing.
it's really embarrassing sometimes. Like we went to a carnival and there was a cops that were standing around. And I'm like, so what do I do?
Yeah.
And I really had to hand them to my mother. I cried because I didn't know what to do. And everybody's looking at me like, why you can't get a hold of this child? I mean, he's up here on my head, down here, because he's still a small kid.
Now, do you have to
Someone,
talk to him? I'm
everybody,
sorry. Do you have to like talk to him, or it just take a couple of minutes for him to like? How does that go?
it takes a couple of minutes. It depends on the environment. So when we're at home, I can get him to calm down very easily at home. But when there is a lot of noise, a lot of kids, a lot of people, it's really hard. There was so many people there that I couldn't get him to focus. I tried talking to him in his ear really softly. I compression hugged him. I tried to divert his attention and it still wasn't enough. I put him in the stroller and I said, you know what? At this point, I probably cried at that park about 5 times that day.
Yeah.
Everyone, instead of people actually trying to help you, they're sitting there, they're watching. I have my mother who was trying to help, but there was only but so much she could do also.
Right.
And so, and it does definitely become a struggle, like being a mom with disabilities. And I'm not saying that I'm a single mother because I do have a fiance. However, a lot of times it's us going out. So
Right.
it's hard. It's just you going out and you're doing with the kids and there's no other structure there to help because with autistic kids you need a schedule, you need time, you need structure. They like routine.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's another thing. You can't get them off of that routine.
Right. How do you, as mom, how do you cope?
Well, basically what I do is I do a little bit of I like to meditate. Definitely meditation is a big thing, especially when it gets a bit too much and the other coping mechanisms I have don't work. I like to definitely take like at least 10 to 15 minutes out of my day to meditate. I also like to draw. My older like coping mechanisms before being a mom with autism, you learn that that doesn't work. That you need something because you start to feel crazy for real because you can't go you it's not like you can really get a job and work because you constantly have to leave. You're constantly getting phone calls. You're constantly worried about that child. So what I do is I'll, get a book, probably try to read a few pages. I'll draw. I have a few things. Hold on. Hold on, y'all.
Okay, show us your work, boo. Show us your work.
That's okay. Yes,
Hold
yes.
on.
I
Let me
like to
put you
draw.
on a big
Like this
screen.
was this was me and my fiance. I learned how to do portraits kind of learning. It's me and
Nice.
him after my birthday. And this is my favorite one from the stages of me. Basically, I felt like in this stage I was very like childish, and this was me coming into growing and knowing myself. And that one she just kind of popped out because I feel like I know me now. I
Okay.
can be who I am
Okay. I like
without
that.
without the judgment. So I like to draw and just create things. Sometimes you got to get that creative brain going, whether it's writing poems or writing a song or designing a shirt or coming up with a business plan, something that takes your mind away from it because
Right.
you're going to have to deal with it every day. Even
Yeah.
if you have to, it's okay to take 15 minutes to step outside,
Mm-hmm.
to get a breath, to breathe for a second because it's really hard and you have to ask for help. That's another thing. You
Sit your
don't
ass down.
have to ask for help. I know it's hard. It's a real hard situation to be like, hey, you know what, I need help because a lot of times people do turn their back on you or they give you half-ass answers like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna help you, and
Right.
and they be like, oh, okay, you say you need how many minutes? Well, I can only give you 5. And that's a real big thing, because with us being in moms in general, we need a break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely,
We
definitely.
need a break.
We have like a lot of comments. I think we need to tap into these.
Yes, so I seen
Yeah.
one I wanted to read. It was I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but her last name is Royal, and she was talking about therapy.
Quita.
That's how you pronounce that? Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. She said the best thing. Okay, so the best thing I did for my son was the best thing I did was get the help for my son, and in my therapy, in my opinion, therapy has worked wonders on my son, and I'm so happy she said that because therapy is amazing if you're willing to accept the help and are willing to take your child off and because like my son he goes to behavioral therapy and I think it is great for him. I think it helps him tremendously. So that is definitely a good what's the name?
Definitely. It is important for you to get therapy for yourself also. Don't let
Definitely.
somebody tell you, oh, you're going to therapy, that makes you crazy. No, because sometimes you need someone to talk to outside of the people in your circle. They understand, really don't.
Yeah.
So going to therapy definitely helps. I can say that did help me tremendously. When I first went through my first breakthrough, my first breakdown, I had to go. I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I can't think. And the people around me are not helping me think. They're just making the situation work. I need to go see someone. And once I started seeing her and we started talking, and she just it's a no judgment zone. When you
Mhm.
therapy, they're not judging you. They allow you to talk and get what you need out because they understand. They've been through something. Most of these therapists have been through the same thing you're probably going through now.
Hmm.
So
I
it's
need to go
important to
for
always,
myself.
always do for yourself.
Yeah, I go to therapy once a week. It's amazing. It's helpful. It's a
Hmm.
stress reliever.
I
That's the
need to get it.
truth.
Yeah, I need to go for myself. So
It's
Sign
real
it up,
good.
sign up, girl. I'll send you
Y'all
my
see me
I'll
good,
send you
okay?
where I was going before, right next to the kids' doctors. They was good too. I know my lady was. I miss Vicky. That was my girl. That was my dog. You
yeah,
feel me?
I need to go.
Quita did leave another comment. Quita is very vocal right now because her son is autistic as well. His name is Alcim. Shout out to
Hello.
Alcim. And
Hello.
she is, I don't know if she still does it, but she used to get on live and I believe YouTube as well, if I'm not mistaken. And she used to do like her exercises that she would do with him, like showing his progress and him playing with the Play-Doh and him feeding himself with the spoon. And it was super dope to watch because I think for parents whose children do not have a special need, we take the little things for granted because our kids are able. So it really made me happy to watch her son progress in those areas because not only is he progressing, but his progression takes a little bit of a load off of her, you know, because I seen my mom go through it and I was very helpful and involved with my brother. So I don't know firsthand, but I do, understand a little bit of what you guys do go through, not just with autism, but with a special need in general.
Right.
Quita said a lot of people are in denial and they will wait it out or say, oh, they will grow out of it. Doesn't necessarily have to be autism, but it can be any type of delay that needs to be looked at. My son was one when I noticed the signs. His doctor didn't immediately tell me what to do, but after that second visit, he was worried and we got in contact with early intervention. And I just stress that because it's nothing wrong with, just making sure your baby is okay.
Right.
Mhm.
I feel like if a lot of parents not pay attention, because I'm sure everybody's paying attention, but just don't think that it's just something. Even if it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with just checking up on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of the children in our kids' age brackets are having problems, and it
Yeah.
seems a lot more common these days than
Absolutely.
before, and I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know if it's the prenatal vitamins we taking. I don't know if it's this formula. I don't know, but something is like
But the thing and the crazy thing about it is, in our stretches, it's better to know early so we can teach them how to deal with it. We
Right.
can deal with it, and then they know how to deal with it as adults. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah, I
So
agree.
definitely make sure your kids is good, even when you think they're not good, and just I don't know.
Yeah, which is why it's important to reach out to Babies Can't Wait, because they, like I said, they definitely come with them. Whether it's something small, you can say my kid looks out the corner of their eyes, or they walk on their tippy toes or anything. They're gonna help you get all the resources that you do need. And it's okay to ask questions. Like I
Yes.
myself, I had an autistic son. My best friend now, her name's Kamisha. She has an autistic son. And a lot of the things that I've learned about my son, I've learned through her, watching her handle her son, watching her son do what he do. Even a lot of other things I've actually learned from Sabrina and her brother, because I was around for a little bit of that to witness some of the things that he went through. So watching my, like, wow, it's amazing how they are all linked, but they're all different at the
Right.
same time. I can't
Mhm.
go based on Sabrina's mom had to do with her son because my child is different, or what my best friend is doing because again my child is different. And there's so many different other aspects into autism or any other disease, just like cerebral palsy
Right.
or Down syndrome. It doesn't make a child any less different because they were born a different way. That just actually gives them a superpower. You and
Yeah.
I.
That's very true. That's very, very true.
So we said with children with a little extra spice because
Because that's
they're
what they have.
amazing, but they just have a little extra spice, so we need to love them a little extra more.
Right.
But
Teach
Exactly.
your children how to interact and how to treat children that are not like them,
yes,
because they have feelings too. And their feelings getting hurt may cause them to react totally different than a child who does not have their special need. It's
Right.
so important to teach your kids. Like the fact that bullying is just such a thing. And we're seeing all of these articles about these young kids, 10, 11, 9 years old, committing suicide. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It baffles me, and it my heart gets so heavy because I'm just thinking to myself like a 9 year old, they don't even know how to really handle life at all. So for them to feel the need, their feelings were just so hurt that they felt that they didn't want to live anymore and actually go through and succeed with the act is very, very, very troublesome. It's
yeah,
so important to teach your kids to be nice, be helpful. Even when you get to a certain age, don't treat people mean just because you want to fit in with whoever. Your friends are going to be your friends, and they're going to be your friends because of who you are. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? That's what I teach my daughter. Be yourself, and whoever gonna fuck with you gonna fuck with you, and whoever don't, just don't. And that's just that. You don't have to change or be nobody else, because
yeah.
she's a nice person and I want her to stay that way because it's gonna pay off in the long run. You never know.
Is
We
there
keep
like a book out also that we can like read to our kids or show our kids to teach them also? Do you guys know like if it's any type of book out? You know,
um.
to,
I don't know. We could probably check it out. We'll probably do some
Yeah,
more
because I
research.
surely didn't write that
And
down.
but
I did.
also we stretching the fact to teach our kids, but we also need to understand that our kids do grow to be people that we don't understand neither. Like
Mhm.
they hang out with people they don't, new kids, and the next thing you know, they're trying to piggyback off the new kids, and now they doing things that we didn't teach them. You know what I mean? But then you also have kids, because I'm starting to realize a lot of bullies are mostly people who can't speak up in their own house. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
That's
So
right.
my home for my child is his safe space. So when you're angry, upset, anything, this is your safe space. Take it out at home so you're not taking it to school and being mean to other kids because they have nothing to do with that. You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
that's why I feel as though that's where bullies is coming from too.
but really, as parents, you set the example. because if we listen more to our children, we were raised to kids shouldn't talk back, kids shouldn't ask why. But isn't them asking why a part of their development?
Mm-hmm.
So each
Definitely.
one teach one. You can't expect for your kid to be the leader example if you're not leading by example, which is why I'd be afraid to even allow my kids to go outside because you have not just kids who bullying, but you have these adults who think it's okay to throw trash at people or yell at somebody, or these cops who see a grown man who has autism or cerebral palsy
Ugh,
or anything, acting irate and they want to hurt them and kill
because
them.
that happened. That happened. It
That
was it
happened.
was on the news, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that young man is not here anymore. You know, and the world just need like a reset button or something.
Everyone just need a hug. And
Yeah,
stop littering. And
it's
stop
a lot of
littering, please.
anger. Like
Stop
it's a lot
littering.
of anger, and it's a lot of aggression, and a lot of hate. And I feel like people ain't born angry.
Never.
People ain't born racist. People
Never.
ain't born. You know, this is what they're being taught. Some kids are just taught certain things in their own home, and
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. It's important to teach your kids. Some people ain't gonna like you for whatever. That's okay.
Yeah.
Some people gonna say certain things to you. Walk away. Cause in this day and age, you can't argue back with people because you might die. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. Like it gets drastic. It's very drastic times right now. So
Right.
just gotta prepare your kids for life a little bit earlier than we all expected because the kids these days are a little bit growner and
Mm-hmm.
than we were.
You don't like them grown kids. You
No,
know,
I really don't. I really don't. I know kids going to be kids, and as they get older, they're going to experiment and they're going to, be into certain things and everything like that. But
there's no need to rush it.
There's no need.
seriously,
There's
But
definitely no need to
a
rush
lot of
it.
kids are a lot of kids nowadays, most of their parents are on drugs or still out trying to do whatever they want to do, so they're going based off of survival. They're not
yes.
being taught. That's the real problem. They're not being taught. Their parents aren't sitting down with them. Where I live, it amazes me how everyone's always like, your kids are so proper, they're so nice, they're so this, they're not cursing, they're not fighting other kids all the time. Well, most of y'all let y'all kids be outside to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, God knows who. These girls be out here 2 in the afternoon, okay, 6 and under doing splits and cartwheels and
But listen,
not listen, excuse me.
but what we not gonna do, we ain't gonna judge these kids because you don't know what you like. You don't know, like
Oh, I listen. I
TikTok.
judge
Those
no.
TikTok dances be
It's
crazy sometimes,
take them
and they just doing what they see on TikTok. They doing what they
No,
see on
seriously.
you,
in.
and they just doing, they just doing what they see. You understand what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna throw no shade because we just don't know. Sometimes you never know anyone's situation, and this is a
No,
safe.
it's very true. It's very true.
So
Because I just looked on my TikTok and Cassidy got about 13 videos up there. I didn't even know it was on there. I don't even be on it.
I
So
didn't call my.
now I'm about to delete the app because I'm like, girl, this ain't what it's for. You know? Like, what's going on?
I mean,
Oh,
just putting
thank
the
you,
one.
Jaquilla. Thank you.
yeah, I was about to say let's definitely go to the
Yes.
comments quick because they definitely boosting and being nice. Thank you, Jaquella. That was really nice of you.
Yeah.
Yes, Jaquilla shared a link. Okay, we definitely gonna look into that because education is everything.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Deanna. Like,
you're
you know,
welcome. Thank you for
Yes. Yes.
having
This
me.
was this was great. Thank you for coming on.
yes. And if y'all have any questions for Deanna, hit
Yes,
her up on her inbox. Hit her up in her inbox.
and my
She's
Facebook
more than welcome to answer any questions. Answer them.
What's
Right?
your
And to
Facebook?
you,
to
okay.
answer. You already know my Facebook is Deanna Clarice Fladger. I will put another comment down below. So for anybody that wants to message me, you can go ahead and message me at any time. If I don't answer right away, I'm probably doing something, but I will get to all your questions and try to help you the best way that I can with all the resources that I do know. I have a lot of things written down that I didn't bring
Right now.
today because I knew I only had 30 minutes.
Not right
But I
now.
do have a lot of resources and things to help you guys. And just if you want to just reach out just to talk about it, because I know that is hard speaking to someone who doesn't understand.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I see a lot of you guys from the comments that I'm browsing through. You guys are kind of going through the same things with your children. And I just want to tell you guys, if you feel like the doctors aren't paying attention, you know, you as the parent and your child as a patient does have rights.
Hmm.
If you don't know, you better get in tune. Don't let these
Okay.
people push your babies to the side. If you honestly, as the parent, feel like your child is not behaving normally, is you tell these people, and you make them do their jobs, because that's why they have their degrees.
Mm-hmm.
They work for you. It's
Right.
not the other way around,
Right.
and I pray that you guys all get the help, that you need. I say, Ivy Lynn said her daughter is about to start speech therapy. Super cool. Shanice, I'm glad that you've been going to therapy and that is helping. Darnay, I hope that you figure out everything going on with Tati. You guys ask these questions and, you know, get the answers and do your research. It is nothing wrong with that. It's very important to help your children in any way that you can. Absolutely. I also seen Deborah say that we were talking about medication. She said I tried meds for my son who was diagnosed with ADHD/ODD. It calmed him down, but it also altered his appetite and made him super tired. I
Mm-hmm.
took him off and he did much better. As far as the medication, don't knock you if you want to try it. If you feel like your child needs to be on medication, that's totally cool. But if you notice that the medication is affecting him in a way that is not normal,
Yeah, take them
like
off.
Deborah said, he's not eating right. He was very sleepy and he's just not being lively. Take him off. Try
Yeah.
something different. Just because they give it to you, don't mean that the
Don't
kid has to take
worry.
it. There's other
Mhm.
options, other medications, other therapies, other anything. Don't
And
settle
I'm not
just
gonna.
for one thing.
Yeah, don't settle for just one thing. And unfortunately, where I live at, they do not provide the. I know some people are biased, and a lot of people don't want to do this, but I've heard that the oil drops for the THC is very, very good for the children with autism.
Okay.
I've heard, but they don't provide that here in Georgia. Y'all might
Origin.
be able to
Okay.
get that where you are because they just
Okay.
medically that. So y'all might want to look into that because it's a lot. It keeps them up. It doesn't make them super tired, and it helps with other disabilities too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's up. Well,
And
you
always listen.
guys.
So I think that what we're gonna do, is that
Yes, it is.
yes, it is. Like it just popped up in the middle of me talking.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But listen, weed, right? We know weed as a recreational drug, but don't get it effed up. The government know what they're doing by legalizing this weed. This weed has been given to people who have cancer, people who have fibroids, people who have all types of diseases and conditions for pain for a long time. Okay?
Yeah.
Like glaucoma, like all
It's
types of
actually,
things.
yes, it's very,
So
very helpful. Very, very helpful.
please
Very.
believe that sooner or later, yeah, it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. It just don't get you high, Depends on how much you're using.
But
And
again, we're not doctors, so
we're not doctors.
you feel as though it's best for your child.
I ain't telling y'all to go give
We're
y'all
not gonna say
kids
we don't want to
no
just be
weed.
giving them advice.
Stop. I'm just saying. Okay?
We listen to just mommy and them, and they said just giving the weed.
This is
Okay.
all of our opinions. We are not doctors. We do not have degrees. We are not psychologists.
None of
We
that.
do not
None of
work
that.
for the CDC or the FDA. Okay?
I need to figure out what's gonna help my situation.
Right. It's just do whatever you make think work for you. So what I was thinking is we are like a way over past what we should be, and we're gonna try to utilize our Facebook page a little more, and we're gonna take the link that Jaquilla shared, and we're gonna put the list of books up there, and you're more than welcome to go on there and look at the books and stuff and teach your kids.
That's right.
Yes, because I know I am.
Yes,
That's right. And we hope that you guys have a great week.
yes.
Yeah.
School tomorrow, back to work tomorrow. back to life tomorrow. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Deanna, thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on and accepting our invitation and being so open and being so honest and
Yes.
informative about your situation. And we pray for you and your son, and we pray that he continues to progress in ways that they said that he will not, because he will.
He will.
We're claiming it and we're speaking it into existence, and you're doing an awesome job.
Yes, you are.
That's right.
Thank you, because I greatly appreciate y'all for real. Because it's not. We need more of this. I wish we had like 3 hours because we need more. Like this podcast is absolutely amazing.
Oh,
So
thank
I
Thank you.
definitely appreciate y'all for having me, inviting me. I was very, very shocked, and I'm still very pleased. Okay.
Yes. So definitely put your, if you have topics you want to talk about, put it in the,
Yes.
you could put it in the comments, you could put it in our inbox, you could put it on our page, and we'll
you. We'll
definitely,
talk about them. Yes.
yes.
Oh, and you guys, our YouTube is up and it's
Oh
working. So if you guys have
yeah.
family members or friends who do not have social media and you think that they would enjoy watching us, please have them follow our YouTube page at
It's
Just
up.
Momming the Podcast. It's up
Yes.
and it's stuck. Period. And if you guys have any suggestions, any topics, anything that you want to tell us about, please utilize our inbox or our email, justmommingthepodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, that's that good stuff. And thank you guys for commenting. Like the comment sections was
Yes,
booming
I love it.
today.
Y'all
Really
showed
lift
out
my spirits.
tonight.
Y'all definitely lift my spirits. I was not in a good mood when I came on here, but
Y'all
I'm
did.
feeling a lot better right now. So thank you guys for being so
Yes.
interactive with us for our third episode again. And you guys are really supportive, and we really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate it.
This is
Yes.
so fucking
Like, share, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Yes.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Have a great
you.
night.
Good night.